y'all boys? I wanted to get on here today to answer the question that everybody has been asking, everybody's been thinking about. Why can't the USA win the World Cup? And before you say, oh, bro, nobody's been asking that, you guys, listen, bro, we have a country of 340 million people. I don't think it's that crazy to say that we should have 11 that are good enough to win the World Cup. I think that's pretty reasonable. But I'm going to call it soccer for this video. But soccer is the most popular sport in the world, and I believe that that's so because the barrier to play is so low. You know, you don't need any special equipment. You don't need to spend any money. All you really need is a ball and a field. You know, you can use flip-flops as the goals. You can even use a coconut as the ball. They do it in Brazil, and they produce the best players in the history of the sport. But if that's all true, if soccer is a sport that's for the poor man globally across the world, how come in the United States this term soccer mom exists? How come when you think about soccer here, you think about a middle-class family, a mom with a minivan taking her kids to play, when the rest of the world is so different? You look at the players that played on our national team this year, a lot of them came from prep schools, came from private schools, which nothing is wrong with that, but it shows that the system that we have in this country is designed for income and not success. Because the kids that are in those inner cities, the kids that we really need if we're going to win, to have that passion, to have that aggression, the energy, they're not going to be able to play because the system is designed for income and not success. And that's how the whole country is set up. Everything here is designed for money. And, hate it or love it, we do a very good job of making money in this country. That's the truth. But that system is not compatible with winning. Because in my opinion, I believe that we need the rawness that comes from the inner cities, And an example that I'll give you is American football. So I'm from Florida. I'm from South Florida. And if you don't know about South Florida, we probably produce the best, at least top three of the best states for football players in the country. You look at Lamar Jackson, Deion Sanders, Ocho Cinco, Antonio Brown, Ray Lewis. I can keep going for hours. But that's because we have that rawness. We have a certain mentality in the state that other states just don't have. When I went to Washington, D.C. to go to college, I would watch the kids train for football because I would be at the same field playing soccer. And I could just tell like that, that energy, that mentality wasn't the same. We got 6-year-old kids in Florida getting screamed at by grown men to run faster. They wasn't really doing that up there. And, you call it harsh, whatever you want to say, but we put out the best players in the country and in the world for the sport. And I believe that we need that same level of rawness for soccer. I believe that all that pretty boy shit that we have going on, it's not going to cut it. And I honestly think that it doesn't even really reflect the culture and the heart of the countryness. And the way the system is set up right now, we just are not going to be able to have it. And the example that I'll give you of who does is Argentina. They were getting so much hate at the World Cup for the way that they played. But I have an Argentinian friend, and he basically explained to me, he's like, bro, in Argentina, soccer is the only way out. Soccer is how you feed your parents, bro. It's how you feed your siblings. Your family is poor, they're starving, and you play good, and you get to make a bunch of money. Of course they're going to tackle hard. Of course they're going to play with passion, because to us it's a game, but to them it's really everything. And we're just not going to be able to have that with this system, so they're always going to beat us. But some good news is, I believe that this next generation is going to take it a step further. My little cousin plays soccer right now, and I was the only person in my family that ever played a sport. So I see him playing, and I'm thinking, oh shit, like he wants to be like me, like, oh, he looks up to me. Nah, he motherfucker ain't know nothing about me, bro. You watching I Show Speed on TikTok, you feel me? But that's bringing a lot more people into the sport in this country. And I believe that once we do get it right, and we can, I don't know, it's going to be a while, but we can. Once you win the first World Cup, bro, we're winning 10 in a row.